First question I'll answer is discuss how communication technology has evolved both generally as discussed in the text in your working/professional life. Apply the concepts discussed in chapter 11 to your experience of using technology to communicate in a workplace/organizational setting. I think communicational technology has changed a lot. Communication used to be done in person and face-to-face or had to be mailed, which could take days. Now communication can be done over the internet or over a phone. Communication technology has sped up the time it takes for someone to talk to another person. Asking questions can be done by a simple text message when the person is miles away. Technology has allowed for people to send an email to their corporate offices that are states away in a matter of seconds for fast communication. Setting up meetings face-to-face can happen from anywhere with technology of Zoom or other forms of video-based communication. People can still see your face, but from anywhere in the world. Now there are jobs that used to be done in office, but now you can do it from home. During the pandemic, a lot of jobs went online because of the lockdown we faced. During that time, jobs continued because of the advancement of communication technology. Today, you could have a boss that you'd never meet in person, but only see over Zoom and have emailed with. My experience with technology communication is that when I first started working at my current job, anytime I had a question on what to do in a certain scenario, I could just text or call a manager, and he could explain how to fix the issue I was having. The second question I'll answer is consider a professional or organizational setting in which you use technology to communicate. How does what our text presented as the media richness model, social presence theory, and social information processing theory impact communication? Have these mattered in your previous organizational settings? Use concept root text for your response. The media richness model looks at the type of communication and decides if it has a rich or lean medium. Most of the communication I do at work is face-to-face conversations, so there's instant feedback on what someone is thinking through their cues. The tasks are straightforward and I know exactly what to do. I've also communicated using phone calls and text messages. Both these allow for fast and instant feedback, so the communication is quick. Social presence theory is electronic meetings such as teleconference call. I do not have any direct experience on whether that works well or not. When I have been part of Zoom meetings for class, I found that people seem to talk over one another a lot because of slight delay or from when it takes people a second to unmute themselves and then try to insert themselves into the conversation late. The social information processing theory is more of an interpersonal theory where people develop a relationship over email because email lacks nonverbal cues that are more verbal cues give a better impression of themselves. I can see how this would happen with people that you do not communicate with regularly. This is a way to have strong relationships or allow you to hide things that people may not like about you. For the case study, I think one concept that can be applied from the book to the case study is social integration approach. The group from the email list felt that they created a sense of community because they were more connected with each other. McCullen called this a global village because it kept everyone in touch with what was going on in the organization. Before the list, there was not a lot of communication or coordination between the different groups, so having this connection redefined who they were as a community. Another concept that can be connected is the social integration approach from section 11.3. The main goal of the coordinators was to make it easier for different agencies to help the homeless interact by implementing an email list. This list expanded from 60 people to 438 people. This allowed more people to be connected to the services they needed. It was a new media that allowed for interaction and a mediated non-local exchange. In section 11.2, it talks about technology and informational formalization And it says that effective communication and information sharing depends on everyone in the network being connected and pulling from the same database. The case study shows that they tried to do this by creating a website with a list of providers and contact information. The community calendar would allow people to know what was going on and also include a bulletin board and articles that talked about specific programs, giving everyone in the network the same information and connecting them further.